All right, get ready. Because today we're going deep on something pretty wild. Melody roads.
Melody roads.
Yeah, like actual roads that play music when you drive over them.
Wow.
I know, right? At first I thought it was some kind of like internet joke or something.
Yeah, I get that.
But it turns out these musical roads are all over the place.
Really?
Yeah, from like Denmark to Japan and even here in the USA.
That's pretty cool. So how does that even work? Is it like speakers hidden in the pavement or something?
That's what I thought too, but it's way more clever than that.
Oh.
So to get why these melody roads exist, I think we need to look at how they actually work.
Okay, makes sense.
What do you think?
Yeah, let's unpack that. How do you make a road sing?
All right, so imagine those rumble strips you sometimes feel on the shoulder of a highway, you know?
Yeah, I know those.
Well, melody roads take that concept and kind of put it in overdrive.
Okay.
There are two main techniques. One involves cutting grooves into the asphalt at very specific intervals.
Okay.
And the other one uses raised bumps, kind of like on the road surface.
Interesting.
And so when your tires roll over these grooves or those bumps, it creates vibrations.
So you're saying it's the vibrations that make the music?
Exactly. It's physics turning your car into this giant percussion instrument.
Wow. I never thought of it like that. That's pretty cool. So it's not like speakers at all then?
Nope. No speakers hidden in the asphalt. It's all about like cleverly manipulating sound and vibration, I guess.
Wow, that's fascinating.
And get this, the spacing and the depth of those grooves or the size and arrangement of the bumps, all of that determines the frequency of the vibrations.
I see.
Which like translates into different musical notes.
Wow, it's like a giant instrument.
It is. But it still makes me wonder, like, why? Why go through all that trouble? What's the motivation behind creating these musical roads?
Yeah, you'd think it'd be a lot of work for, just a bit of fun.
Exactly.
Well, the motivations are actually pretty diverse. In Japan, for instance, melody roads are often seen as a way to, revitalize rural areas and attract tourists.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
They add a unique twist to those road trips,
Yeah.
turning the journey itself into an experience.
Like that road in Fukushima that plays Take Me Home Country Roads.
Yeah.
I read that one was a huge hit.
Exactly. It's become a bit of a, pilgrimage site for fans of the song,
Yeah.
And it's brought a lot of attention and tourism to the area.
That's amazing. So it's not just about boosting local economies then?
Not just that. In some places, they serve as tributes to musicians or composers.
Oh, right. I did read about that.
It adds this, emotional layer to the driving experience,
There was one in Hungary that was created in memory of a musician, wasn't there?
Yeah, they have one that plays a song by the band Republic in memory of their singer Sipin, who passed away.
That's really cool.
It's a touching tribute that resonates with fans and adds, special significance to that stretch of road.
Wow, that's powerful. So we've got tourism and we've got tributes. But are there any, practical applications?
Practical applications.
Yeah, can melody roads actually make roads safer, in any way?
You might be surprised.
Right.
In areas prone to driver fatigue or speeding, strategically placed melody roads can actually act as alerts.
Oh, interesting.
The change in sound and vibration can jolt drivers awake or encourage them to check their speed.
Like a little wake-up call.
Yeah, it's like a gentle nudge or sometimes a not-so-gentle wake-up call delivered through music.
I like that. So it's more than just a fun gimmick then.
Oh, absolutely. And there's actually a melody road in Belarus designed specifically for that, to prevent accidents.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. So, it's something seemingly whimsical, but it can have a real impact on safety.
Exactly. It's a fascinating example of that.
But I imagine, like any innovation, melody roads aren't without their critics.
Oh, of course not. Nothing's perfect.
Right. So what are the downsides? What are people saying?
Well, for starters, noise pollution is a major concern.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Imagine living near one of these roads and hearing the same melody played over and over again,
Right.
day and night by every passing car.
Yeah, I could see how that would get old quickly.
Especially if it's not your, favorite song.
Right.
I read about a case in California where a melody road actually had to be relocated.
Really?
Yeah, because of noise complaints from nearby residents.
Oh, wow.
It seems like community acceptance is pretty crucial in whether these musical roads are a hit or miss.
It really is. It's a balancing act, isn't it? Between creativity and practicality and, thinking about those who live nearby. I'm also thinking about, durability. I mean, how long can these grooves or bumps really withstand all that traffic?
Yeah, that's another thing to consider.
It must be pretty tough on them.
Over time, the elements and the constant traffic can really take their toll,
Right.
causing the melodies to fade or disappear altogether.
It's kind of like a scratched record,
Yeah.
If the grooves aren't precise, the music's ruined.
That's a great analogy.
So maintaining these roads and keeping them in tune, I guess you could say, must be pretty costly and disruptive, huh?
You got it. It highlights the importance of meticulous design and ongoing maintenance.
So it seems like while melody roads are undeniably cool and creative, they're not a one-size-fits-all solution.
That's right.
There are a lot of factors to consider before you just turn a regular road into a musical masterpiece.
It's more complicated than it seems at first glance.
It is, and that's what makes this topic so fascinating. It's this reminder that even something as seemingly simple as a road, it can spark debate and innovation, and it makes you think about like art, technology, and how it all impacts communities.
It really does make you think. Yeah. It's actually pretty interesting to think that something as modern sounding as Melody Roads has roots going back decades.
Oh, really? So they aren't just like a recent thing?
Not at all. Our research shows that Denmark was where this whole thing started, all the way back in 1995.
Denmark, huh?
Yeah, two artists, let me see if I can remember their names, Steen Krupp Jensen and Jacob Freud Magnus. They created what's believed to be the first melody road in a town called Gilling.
Gilling, that's a fun name. So were they using the same groove technique that we see a lot today?
Actually, they used raised bumps on the road surface to create the musical effect. It's pretty cool to see that, even back then they were experimenting with different ways to make it work.
Makes you wonder if there were other attempts, before that just didn't make it.
Right. Sadly, it seems like this very first melody road isn't around anymore, maybe resurfaced or just faded away over time,
Huh. That's too bad. I would have loved to hear the original musical road. Well, at least, its legacy lives on. I mean, other countries took that idea and ran with it.
Oh, for sure. And speaking of taking it and running with it, no country has really embraced melody roads quite like Japan.
Yeah, Japan is like the melody road capital of the world. They have so many of them. It's amazing. I mean, dozens of these musical routes all over the country.
They've really gone all in on it, and it really shows their love of innovation and finding fun in unexpected places.
It's pretty cool. But how did it all kick off in Japan? Was it like a planned thing from the start?
Actually, it was a total accident.
Really?
Yeah. The story goes that an engineer named Shizuo Shinoda, he was working on a road construction project. And as he's working, he notices something strange. A bulldozer was scraping the road surface, and as it was doing that, it was creating grooves that actually made musical tune.
Wait, music was coming from the construction equipment?
That's the story.
Wow.
And Shinoda was, intrigued. Who wouldn't be?
Right.
So he started playing around with different groove patterns and spacing.
And that's how the melody road as we know it was born.
That's how the legend goes, at least.
Pretty amazing how something so simple, so accidental could turn into this global phenomena. But Japan didn't just copy the idea, right?
No, they took it and made it their own. They've really incorporated melody roads into their tourism and really used them to revitalize those rural communities and attract visitors.
Like we were talking about before.
Exactly. And the music they choose is really diverse. It reflects Japanese culture in so many ways. There are roads playing traditional folk songs. There are roads playing popular anime themes, you name it.
It's like a symphony of roads, each with its own sound and story.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And that's what makes this idea so compelling. They can be more than just a fun roadside attraction.
Yeah.
They celebrate local culture. They promote tourism. They can even tell stories through sound. It's pretty amazing.
It seems like Japan has really figured out how to make them a part of the community, not just something stuck on top of it.
Absolutely. And it's something that other countries, including the U.S., are definitely taking notes on.
And I mean, the U.S. hasn't really adopted melody roads in the same way, right?
Not to the same extent, but there are some noteworthy examples.
Oh, yeah, like that stretch of Route 66 in New Mexico that plays America the Beautiful. That one's always been on my bucket list, to drive on that one.
It's a classic and a great example of how melody roads can tap into feelings of nostalgia and national pride.
It's like a sonic postcard capturing the the essence of a place.
I love that. But the U.S. also shows us the challenges that come with implementing melody roads. We talked about the note complaints earlier and the one in California that had to be moved.
Right.
That really emphasizes how important it is to involve the community and really think about, the impact on the people living there.
It's a good reminder that, what one person loves as music could be noise pollution to someone else.
Exactly. A melody road that's perfect in a rural area might be a nightmare in a densely populated neighborhood.
Makes sense. But it seems like those potential benefits, especially for tourism and safety, those are pretty hard to ignore. Do you think we'll see more melody roads popping up in the U.S. in the future, maybe with new technologies that can address those noise concerns?
It's a good question, and it really leads us to think about the future of melody roads and how this whole concept might evolve as technology changes and we understand more about sound and how it affects communities.
I'm really curious to see what new approaches, what new musical landscapes we might see in the coming years. It's really exciting to think about. So we've talked about melody roads in Denmark and Japan and even touched on some examples here in the U.S. But our musical road trip, it doesn't end there, right? What other parts of the world have gotten in on this quirky concept?
Well, Europe has a really interesting relationship with melody roads. Japan might be like the king when it comes to how many they have, but Europe's approach is it's a cool mix of creativity and culture.
We talked about Hungary's tribute to that band, Republic, earlier, but they have like a bunch of other melody roads too, don't they?
They do. Hungary has really embraced this whole idea. There's one that plays a traditional folk song called Erika Szüle, which means the grapes are ripening.
Wow.
It's a beautiful way to connect like the driving experience to the country's musical history.
I love that, weaving music into the actual landscape. It's almost like the roads are singing the stories of the land,
Exactly. And there's more. They even have a brand new melody road. It was just finished in September 2024. This one plays the song Nelkuld by the band Ismeros Arkak.
Wow, so they're still making new ones. It seems like melody roads have become a real part of their culture. But it's not all about aesthetics and entertainment, right?
Yeah.
We were talking before about the safety aspect, and I'm still thinking about that melody road in Belarus that's designed to prevent accidents.
You mean the one that's supposed to startle those drowsy drivers?
Yeah, that's the one. It's such a smart way to use this technology. Instead of it being, just a fun thing, it could actually save lives.
It really shows you how versatile melody roads can be. They can be designed for all sorts of things, whether it's helping tourism, honoring someone, or making roads safer.
And speaking of safety, I'm curious about how melody roads are viewed here in the U.S. We've mentioned those noise complaints, and the one in California that had to be moved really shows how important it is to get the community on board. Have those concerns made people hesitant to adopt melody roads in America?
It's definitely something people are thinking about, those noise issues and the fact that they could annoy people, especially in places where a lot of people live close together, have made the U.S. a little more cautious. But even with those challenges, there are still some really great examples out there.
Oh, definitely. Like that one on Route 66 that plays America the Beautiful. That's such a perfect fit for such a legendary American road.
It is, and it shows how melody roads can bring up those feelings of patriotism and nostalgia. And let's not forget the one in Auburn, Alabama that plays the Auburn University fight song War Eagle.
Oh, yeah, that one must get the fans going.
I bet it does. It definitely adds something special to those game day experiences.
It seems like melody roads, even though they aren't as common here in the U.S., they're still finding their place. They're bringing a little bit of musical fun to the American landscape. And hopefully, with more innovation and people working together, we'll see even more of these melodic stretches of road in the future.
I agree. And as we wrap up our deep dive into melody roads, I'm just struck by the creativity and the ingenuity behind it all. It really shows how much we want to find joy and meaning in everyday things. And it's a good reminder that even things as basic as roads can be turned into like a canvas for art.
It's been a really cool journey exploring these musical highways all over the world. And who knows, maybe someday soon we'll be driving down a melody road ourselves, tapping our feet to the rhythm of the asphalt. Amazed by how clever this invention is. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. Until next time, keep your ears open for those unexpected melodies that might be hiding just around the corner.